Guys, I'm going to start on the cage. That front cage I was showing you with the UCF stanchions, and I was going to kind of show you what I was doing because it's getting kind of late, kind of cloudy out, and I wasn't going to film much while I was doing this, but I wanted to show you kind of what I was doing, even though I won't be filming much of it. So the first thing I want to do is remove these spreader bars, or whatever you want to call them, windshield brackets, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to remove those first, get those out of the way. Plus, I'm going to need this insert right here to put on the cage I'm putting in there. So first, here's how you take these off. First off, take any of your door surrounds or anything off, and then I had to take my door surrounds and my little grab handles off. This is just a piece that will slide on and off once I get it situated. If anyone's ever put their windshield down, then this is going to be pointless for me to talk about. But for those who haven't, all you got to do is remove this bolt, and then two more back here. One right there, and one right there. These are T40 bolts, T40 Torx. I use this big T40 screwdriver I have. You see I had to, to break them loose, I used just a pair of pliers on that to give me a little more torque. I have a T40 socket as well that I could have went and got, but with this being this tight, the ratchet head doesn't really want to fit in there, so it either has to be a long T40 or something you can get back here, and they are angled where you can actually get down here and get the torque on them. So my Jeep hadn't been up north at least since I bought it, so they weren't really corroded. So I'm just going to take those on out, and then I'll pull that bar out and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, this is what it looks like when it comes out. It's just a bar like that. To get this insert that I'm going to need out, I'm going to have to take this big bolt out, and you'll see it takes a special tool. I believe that's going to be a T45 hollow Torx, which I do not have. But I have done this before, and I can just take some very large pliers and grab around the sides and pull that on out. So that's not going to be an issue. The nut is welded onto the inside, so you don't have to reach in there and hold anything. To get this this roll bar padding out, I would have to pull that out anyway, because this front is welded on there. It doesn't come out. So this roll bar padding comes off from the other side. I'll kind of show you what I mean about needing that piece. It's kind of dark in here, excuse the light, but you can kind of see this piece, the way I had to cut it to get it off the old bar. I'm not going to have anything to attach or to weld to. It's going to have a little gap there. So I'm going to use this piece and this tube. It is the right size. And I'm going to get it up in there to the right length. And then that's what will hook to the other roll bar. As you can see, this roll bar goes into the stock family cage, which means I'm going to have to take all the roll bar padding off of my family cage. So all this padding is going to have to come off, which means I'm going to have to take my my seat belts off, which isn't very hard. You just pop that cover off, and there's a bolt there. You pull that bolt out, and then you can take all that off. Depending, I'm obviously not going to be able to reuse this, but I don't need to necessarily take the sides off. So what I may do is just get some scissors and cut this right here, and then just take this off. It just unzips, it'll come off. If I do that, I can leave the brown on the sides, the padding on the sides, and I can just take a lighter to the edge of this so it doesn't fray, kind of like you would a nylon rope. It'll just melt right down, and it won't fray. That's probably what I'm going to do. I haven't really looked at it yet, but taking all this off is kind of a hassle, especially when you're talking about the bows and everything. If I don't have to, I'm not going to. So I may just cut that up here. My old Jeep, that's what I did, was I just cut that right there and I left these sides on. So guys, I'm going to take the other side off. I'm not going to videotape that. But tomorrow, when the sun comes back out and I start test fitting all of this, obviously I'm going to have to cut those off. I think I measured down to about right here. I'm going to remeasure and mark it, cut it flat. Same on this side, cut to about right here. And then I'll test. I'll put the stanchions in, bolt them in, put this in, test fit, make sure everything lines up. I may have to trim a little off, grind some down, test fit, take it back out, test fit, take it back out. Hopefully after 2 or 3 test fits, I'll be able to get it in a place where it can be welded. If it takes more than that, it'll take more than that. I haven't debated yet. I'll probably weld it in place. So I've got some welding blankets I'll put over the dash. I'll at minimum tack it into place. So this will come down. It'll meet the stanchions right here. I'll at least hit 3 or 4 tacks on it if I were to unbolt it and then weld it in the shop. I'd rather weld it in the shop because getting around the back of this, even with the blankets, is going to be difficult, and you don't get good beads and penetration when you're dealing with odd angles and corners. So I'll probably tack it, a tack on each side, and then pull the whole thing out, take it into the garage, and do the finishing welding. You want to tack it in place though, because as you're welding, the metal's going to heat, it's going to cool, it's going to move back and forth, it's going to contract and expand. And if you were to weld it all just based off of sight and then come try to line it up, nothing would line up and it'd be a disaster. So that's kind of where I'm at. The only things I'm worried about is I want to make sure I still have the stock style latches. That crossbar, I believe, is back far enough for those latches to come down. So I'm a little bit worried. I want to make sure for that. If not, I do have a window channel. I could get another top, but that seems like a lot of hassle. And then getting the stanchions in down here, getting this plastic piece out. There is a piece of firewall right here, so I want to make sure all that fits well. It's supposed to. This plastic piece I'm going to cut right there because the rest of the plastic piece is what holds the wiring for your soundbar. So I want to keep the rest of that plastic in place, just to cut that part off. The stanchion will go down through there, and then I'll have to fabricate the mounts that will go to the frame, but that won't be an issue. So guys, that's kind of where I'm at. I will videotape a lot tomorrow in segments. So this is the first segment, and I'll kind of show y'all kind of how I test fit and things like that. This is all just kind of a exercise. I've only done this once, so this will be a second time, so it's always trial and error, especially when you're kind of trying to keep it as how can I put this, as non-invasive as possible. I still want this to be something I can drive daily if I need to. So, we're going to try to make this as user-friendly as possible, which will mean we'll cut corners in some places when it comes to strength. But not too bad. It'll still be much, much, much better than stock. I'll feel more comfortable. My wife will feel more comfortable, and and I think it'll look cool, which is one of the goals. Let's face it. I want it to be usable, but I also want it to look cool. So, guys, we'll watch this video. If you like it, want to see more, please subscribe and like this video, and I'll be posting the others as soon as possible. Hopefully by the end of the weekend.